when we went into lockdown, my first joke was, "Well, now I'm not scared of cancer anymore," and uh, now I'm scared of cancer again. So I guess my optimism is coming back. But my second joke was, "I'm not even supposed to be here." It was, that line in Clerks where he goes to work on his day off and then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. That's kind of how I felt, although I was joking with myself. In 1984, when I was 18 years old, I literally thought I was going to be raptured. I had let some radio preachers get in my head, and also we had a really scary Left Behind type sermon at summer camp that was one of the maybe 3 or 4 times I got saved. Got the preacher had told us uh, something to the effect of you get saved now, and you'll make the rapture, which is going to happen any day now, or you don't, and then you might get to be one of these martyrs who you skip the number if you can avoid the number of the beast and not follow the Antichrist for a long enough time, then you'll go through all these horrible things and you'll be executed, and then you'll go to heaven with Jesus. And that kind of actually almost sounded easier than trying to stay a good Christian. I was having a hard time not cutting up with my friends, but it scared the hell out of us. There was a thunderstorm at the time. He told us that there was a plot to make everybody get number of the beast tattoos, and if you didn't get them, you weren't going to be able to shop at HEB. He had a secret source that told him that. It scared a whole lot of kids. There were a whole lot of kids that got saved that night. He got to put it on his resume as a camp preacher. How many souls he went to the Lord that summer. Um, I went to my preacher, and he was he was not he was a little. I could tell it bothered him. He was a decent guy, and I think he didn't quite like that sermon. But I answered the right answers to the questions, and so later when we got back, I got baptized one of the times, and I hoped that it would take. But at on in 1984 at the stroke of midnight, we were at a New Year's Eve event at our little church. There was no alcohol, but the potluck was really good, really on point. We were singing a hymn, "Blessed be the tie that binds," which, and holding hands in a circle. And I thought, little do they know that at the stroke of midnight, we're all going to fly up and meet Jesus in the air. And then at the stroke of midnight, nothing. And I kind of waited around a little bit till 1 o'clock in the morning. I thought maybe Jesus is on Pacific time, but nothing. And so it was disappointing. I didn't tell anyone. I hadn't told them beforehand. And I basically, I still stayed a dedicated Baptist and then part time cut up with my friends too for years after that. But that was kind of a first important lesson that I had, that you couldn't always trust your preachers. Also, there's a difference between a preacher and a pastor. Your preacher, your pastor takes care of you, and he may tell you the wrong things, or he may tell you what he thinks the Bible says, and you can disagree with that, but he at least has your interest at heart, or should be if he's a good pastor. If he's a preacher, he could be a good pastor or not. He could just be out for money. And I have my suspicions about that camp preacher. Anyway, I thought I would pass that along. If you happen to be believe some kind of conspiracy theory, and then you come to your senses, and then you feel embarrassed about it, then join the club. You're not the only one. Just don't believe everything everybody tells you. Sometimes the more you want to believe it, the less you could trust it. That's kind of what I found. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today.